Again, the vintage cars, you can see them all over the place. They were at Golden Sands Speedway on Memorial Day. They raced at Rockford Speedway, La Crosse Fairgrounds Speedway, Wisconsin International Raceway. Why don't you give them a nice little wave as they get ready for their feature event coming up here. 20 laps for the vintage cars.
I do have to ask you, there's a Darrell Waltrip car out there. Is there going to be a boogity?
Yeah, I don't want to get in trouble with any lawyers.
Yeah, that might be copywritten.
Copywritten,
yeah. You better stay away from that. That, and not everybody's into the boogity too, so maybe.
It's a little from column A and a little column B. I'm not going to lie to you there, Tom. I actually have to scrap what I said on the inside of number 4. That is actually the 21 of Rex Ross here, the 76 Camaro. He is from Plover, Wisconsin. Looks like he is outside the 2 of Gary Mitidiero, the 71 Chevy Camaro from Homer Glen, Illinois. The 02 Woody Poole, the 74 Torino from Tinley, Illinois. The 12 is Butch Mierendorf, 99 Pontiac Grand Prix from Waterloo, Wisconsin. And that is your field of the vintage cars. Going to be going 20 laps for you here today. And Rich Wagner and that 58 Pontiac pace car going to be pulling the field down the front stretch again. This time, fans having a nice salute for the vintage cars as they get ready to go. Stand up, give them a nice wave. A 20-lap feature event for the vintage cars coming up next.
That first one was a practice.
They got to get up and stretch it out, right, Tom?
Yep.
Believe we have lost the 28 of Fred Lorenz, or the Fred Lorenzen lookalike car, Rodney Schutte. We saw him kind of pulling up toward the wall there in 1 and 2 on that first pace lap. May have made his way back to the pit area, so we'll see if we can get that 28 car back out there and fixed up.
It was good to see Pastor Todd back with us. We missed him at Kaukauna, and it's kind of not the same without him. So good to see Pastor Todd start us off on a good note today.
Yeah, and Morgan doing a fantastic job of singing our national anthem as well. So Paul Dolphy in that 99 car. It is a 69 Ford Torino Dick Trickle tribute car. Will be ready to lead the field to green alongside Dave Goronski in the 33. Troy's up in the stand, and he will wave the green. Here we go. Vintage feature underway. Also see on the backstretch right now, Tom, we got the 8 car of Tom Collins, the 81 Chevy Camaro. He's out of Lake Mills, a little slow as well. We'll see if he can make it back to the pit area as the field rolls out of turn number 2. Harry Gant, Dave Goronski on the outside. Going to take the lead away now down the backstretch. That number 4 car, that Rossier machine, that thing fast everywhere as well. He slides in a second. Gary Mitidiero now up to 3rd. Here comes Butch Mierendorf to the 4th spot. Lap number 1 coming into the books this time. It will be led by Dave Goronski in the Harry Gant lookalike. Goronski going to feel a little pressure here now as closing in. It's Rossier. Goronski kind of staying right down on that inside line. Not a lot of guys like to go on the outside. You might see that a little bit later in the Mid-Am cars. They seem to find it 2 or 3 separate grooves all the way through. Gary Mitidiero trying to hold off Butch Mierendorf, and we see Woody Poole making his first appearance up in the top 5. Dave Goronski still showing the way, but here comes Rossier to the outside looking for the lead. That's Royce Rossier in the 4, Rex in the 21 a little bit further back in the field. Those two were racing each other at Golden Sands a couple of weeks ago. Rex set fast time, knocked Roy out of the top spot. He said, yeah, Royce will probably pay me back a little bit later on. He never did, though. Side by side through 3 and 4. Gary Mitidiero right now hanging back in that 3rd spot, kind of saying, okay, guys, sort it out. We got some time here. On the outside, that time it was Rossier, and we've got some smoke coming big time under the hood of the 12th car, Butch Mierendorf. And that will bring out the yellow. Not sure if Butch left anything down there. Kind of hard for us to tell from up at this vantage point. As Mirendorf sees the engine expire on that 12 machine.
The one thing about these cars, these guys aren't just here for show. It's show.
Oh, they're
and
racing.
go.
They are racing hard, absolutely.
Yep.
All right, it looks like we are all set to go again. 3 laps are down. 17 remain here for the vintage cars. We'll see if old Royce Rossier can hang on and take a vintage feature as we go back to green. A little bit of dust down there in the first couple of passes through 1 and 2. Look at Dave Goronski right back to the lead. Rossier falling back, and oh, here comes Gary Minadiero once again in that 2 car. That 71 Chevy Camaro charging on the outside into the 2nd spot. Roy's starting to fall back a little bit. Here comes Rex Rossier now in the 21. He'll try to take the 3rd spot, pushes up a little bit there in 3 and 4, and he might also bring Woody Poole along for the ride. Goronski again still showing the way. Everybody you can kind of see, Tommy, a little tentative going down there into 1 and 2. You want to be careful. Just don't want to spin the tires in that excess oil dry. Driver's doing a good job of making sure that they get through there. Goronski still showing the way down the backstretch entering turn number 3. Minadiero running 2nd. Feeling a little bit of pressure right now from Rex Rossier. He's just happy to keep it pasted down on the inside line. Minadiero tries sliding up, jumping back down, seeing if he could grab a little momentum. Nothing for Goronski just yet. Now Rex Rossier going to try that inside line. Not a ton of space there with that inside retaining wall. Kind of cut off his momentum. Gave that outside line to Gary Minadiero to charge back in a second. But here comes Rex again down the backstretch. He's got that right front to the left rear. Now to the door. Looks like he backed out a little bit there. Maybe thought Minadiero was going to slide down, try to give him some space, and that allows Poole on the outside to try to take the 3rd spot away. To the stripe this time, lap number 6 for the vintage cars. Also still have Royce Rossier kind of tagging the tail of that lead pack. Kenny Hutchins in there as well, running in the 5th spot in the 13. See if Rex can get the run on Minadiero this time. He cannot. Still has to deal with Woody Poole on the outside as well. Goronski's got a mirror full of some pretty good racing action behind him. Would like to keep it there if he can. Showing the way once again out of turn number 4. Minadiero now takes a look to the outside, and Woody Poole might be joining him right behind the leader here in just a moment. Poole stuck up on that top side right now on the outside of Rossier. Minadiero thought about testing the outside line for a moment, decided against it, leaves the outside line open. If Poole can get the charge, he cannot. Look at Rex Rossier again. This time down the backstretch, decides he wants the inside line on Minadiero again. Has to back out. Minadiero on the outside, gets that charge into the turn. He'll take the 2nd spot back. Field will put a lap down on your pole sitter, Paul Dolphy, in the 99. Nothing changing just yet up in that top 4. Certainly looks like that powder keg is ready to explode and shake up a bit. Nothing happening just yet as Rossier again gets to the inside. And you can see maybe a little bit more brake required on that 21 car. Sometimes you'll see those heavier machines, a little bit more motor, a little bit less handling, have to back out. Minadiero looks pretty good. Going into the turns, while Rossier looks a little bit better out of the turns. To the inside again for the 2nd spot. See if he can make it stick this time. Minadiero on the outside, sensing the pressure, now going to pull even with Goronski on the outside. Side by side of the lead out of the 2nd turn. He's got some help with Woody Poole right behind as well. Minadiero taking the lead away this time, going into 3 and 4. And here comes Woody Poole to the outside of Goronski. He'll take the 2nd spot away. Rossier going to jump up top as well. Halfway gone this time, 10 in, 10 remain. So Gary Minadiero is now your leader, followed up by Woody Poole, and then Rex Rossier. Kenny Hutchins is slid into the 4th spot as well. Goronski falls back to 5th. Royce Rossier still somewhat in the conversation back in the 4th car in the 6th spot. Meanwhile, battle for the lead might begin to develop here as Poole takes a little peek to the inside of Gary Minadiero. Through 3 and 4, Minadiero kind of running right in the middle there. Not giving a lot of space for Poole right now. He's going to try to swing it down to the inside on the front stretch. No, decides to tuck it back in line. Woody Poole might have to worry about some defense here as well as Rex Ross here continues to keep it close. Top 3 breaking away from Hutchins just a little bit here on lap number 11. Hutchins with a pretty healthy advantage over the 33 of Goronski, and then quite a ways back to Royce Rossier in the 4. A dozen gone this time for Gary Minadiero in the 2. They come up on Dolphy again going into turn number 1. You see a little bit more of that oil dry kicked up by your leader, Gary Minadiero. Nothing wrong there through 1 and 2 though. Woody Poole still somewhat within striking distance, about 3 car lengths back on Minadiero, as the top 2 separating themselves a little bit from Rex Rossier back in the 3rd spot. Gary Minadiero in that 1974 Torino GT. That car is actually on a Port City chassis. Familiar for some of the drivers of the Jegs series and of the ARCA Midwest Tour. Know how those Port City chassis can wheel around the Milwaukee Mile. Right now looking pretty good for Gary Minadiero. Woody Poole still not making it easy for him, however. Now Poole might try to make the charge this time, again keeping it right within that 2 to 3 car length disadvantage, and then you see Minadiero out of the 2nd turn this time stretches it out to about 6 as they enter 3 and 4. Could potentially be that Woody Poole is setting up for a final run here at the lead spot on Minadiero. This time a 15 in, 5 remain for Gary Minadiero. Again on the lap car of Highland, and you see going into 1 and 2 is right where Woody Poole starts to make up that ground, but again Minadiero jumps away out of the 2nd turn. Looks like this one's sorting out to be a 2-car battle as they have stepped away from Rex Rossier back in 3rd, and then a long way back to Kenny Hutchins back in the 13. Minadiero slides back to the outside of Dolphy. There you see chewing away again the 0-2 of Woody Poole. Might have a better run out of the straightaway this time. Keeps it a little bit closer on Gary Minadiero this time out of the 2nd turn. Poole trying to close the gap again in 3 and 4. At about 4 car lengths. You see Minadiero slide up a little bit. That 0-2 car seems pretty happy right down on the yellow paint. As they come down the straightaway, Poole keeping with Gary Minadiero with 3 to go. Into 1 and 2, Gary Minadiero slides back up, might try to grab what a little bit of banking is here at the Milwaukee Mile to get that run onto the turn. He kicks it sideways. Saw some smoke, or actually I believe that might have been a little bit more oil dry way up toward the wall. Minadiero with a little scare that time down the back stretch. Woody Poole was not able to capitalize though. This time by lap 18 at 2 miles left for the 2 of Gary Minadiero. Woody Poole starting to run out of chances now in that 2nd spot. Still trying to keep it close on Minadiero. We mentioned how fast that 2-car always is in these vintage races. The 0-2 cars look pretty stout as well. Does he have a little something left up his sleeve for Gary Minadiero in that 1971 Chevrolet Camaro? Or will it find A.J. Foyt victory lane? 1 lap remaining for the vintage cars. One more pass through 1 and 2. Minadiero out by about 2 car lengths that time. He's going to swing it up high, try to get the run of the turn, and look at him get away. Out to about 7 car lengths now down the backstretch over the 0-2 of Woody Poole. Poole going to have one more chance to get him through the turn. Some lap traffic there as well. Highland and Dolphy, how will they negotiate their way through traffic? Lap car sliding down to the inside. Smooth sailing. Gary Minadiero will take the vintage feature win. Woody Poole comes home second. Rex Rossier will finish third. Fourth place will be coming out of turn number 4 here in just a moment. That is the 13 of Kenny Hutchins. And Dave Goronsky in the 33 will round out the top 5 for the vintage cars. So there you see it up on the scoreboard here at the Milwaukee Mile. First feature is in the books. Vintage cars putting on one heck of a show. Well, Woody Poole, I don't know, Tommy. He had a couple of chances there. It looked like he could have closed the gap, but we've seen Gary Minadiero race these things before. I believe he's won at Oktoberfest. He's won in some places. He knows how to get things done, and it translates into a victory here at the Milwaukee Mile for Gary Minadiero in the vintage cars.
He said he knows how to get things done. Probably he was going to have to make a mistake. You know, he's in the sights close enough, but no mistakes made, and he did get it done.